So when you know the anatomy, then you can easily record the borders in a frequent way. So the knowledge of anatomy for single step bord molding is quite important. You know the movements. You should have your thoughts for recording the border molding all at once. So if you are not aware of the anatomy and the bodily movements, it will definitely become quarrelsome for you to get it record the borders all at once in a single step border molding. So, as per my suggestion, you should learn the technical part first with the conventional methods like border molding with a green stick. And once you become a pro, then you can easily go or hit a single step border molding. So when you are recording the part of, as we have already discussed in our lecture, so the labial vestibule can be recorded in the ways it's like the outward, upward, and retracted movements, particularly for the recording of orbicularis oris, which records the thing and which will help us to record the area. So during the border modeling, you should feel like that you should record the borders in a particular way, that there should no folds during the incremental methods, and there is a no transition zone from one to another incremental method. So when you are recording the buccal vestibule, you are recording the buccal prenae as well as the orbicularis oris muscle, the buccinator muscle. The most commonest movement you can perform for every area or the most of the area in the mandible, you can record is outward, upward, and inward movement in mandible. So you can record the fibers in a very easy way. So the distal buccal vestibule can be recorded by masseter muscle influencing the buccinator. So it will be a like a masseteric sling or a masseteric notch-like appearance can be visible. It can be done to ask the patient to open the mouth and close under finger pressure on the posterior finger rest. So this is the mandibular lingual border area. Sorry, the it can be termed as alveolingual sulcus. Then alveolingual sulcus is the area which is determining the lingual borders of the one side of the mandible. So we need to uh, the record these areas in a frequent way to get an adequate stability part from the for the mandibular denture. So the anterior lingual vestibule have the genioglossus muscle, lingual frenum, and some part of the anterior portion of the sublingual gland. So you have to record it by protrude the tongue to the length of the flange and wide the lip from side to side and to touch the anterior part of the palate. Okay, so for the middle or myeloid vestibule, you need to ask the patient to touch the cheeks with the tongue to record the width of the sulcus. Okay, so the lingual border should be recorded in the myeloid function in such a way that the myeloid muscle get activated, because we have a myeloid muscle at the rest and in the function, the position change of the myeloid ridge attachments. So in the end, the most important part, as we have discussed earlier also, is the lateral third form, that is a class 1, class 2, and class 3. As we can see, the class 1 is quite deep. So the stability part is quite influenced in class 1, and it will compromise as we progress to class 1, class 2, and class 3 part in the further things we achieve. Okay, so this is the ideal part. So this part should be recorded in a very fine way. It should be an ideal reverse S form, and that is the ideal form of the mandibular border molding. So it is important to record the mandibular in a reverse S form from the alveolingual sulcus area to get the adequate stability in the denture. So we can only see a short distance ahead, but we can see plenty there that needs to be done. So that is just a saying by Alan Turing. So now we are discussing one of the most important part as uh, the posterior palatal seal considered the most important part in maxillary and dentures to get retention. As we have already discussed, the retention is more primarily entertained in maxillary dentures. So it's a posterior most limiting structure of maxillary denture. The correctly placed PPS will neither impinge on the non-displaceable tissue of the hard, nor it will limit the muscular movement of the soft palate. It will, however, create a partial vacuum that is activated only when horizontal or tipping forces are directed against the base. So when you are pushing the anterior border, then you are checking the anterior retention. But when you are pushing from it from the palatal side, then you are checking the posterior retention. So whenever you have an extended PPS, then the patient will come as a complaint of problem in sucking or swallowing. They have a problem in swallowing or gag reflex frequently, as the gag reflex is particularly influenced by the glossopharyngeal nerve. So it is the most commonest entity. So as it's more or less like a bow shape as my pointer is running. So it's like a bow shape, and the anterior vibrating line is that bow of the thing, and the flat line is the posterior vibrating line. So the fovea palatini is lie ahead of vibrating lines or the PPS area. So the PPS area is that portion of the intaglio surface of a maxillary complete denture located at its posterior border, which places pressure within the physiologic limit on the posterior palatal seal area of the soft palate. This ensures the intimate contact of the denture base to the soft palate and improves the retention of the denture. Okay. So the post, as we have already discussed most of the part, that posterior palatal seal area is comprised of two parts, that is maxillary seal and palatal seal, which partly forms the posterior palatal seal area. So, it's this physiology, the activation of the soft palate area and the palatine aponeurosis, as we have discussed about the gagging reflex in the earlier discussions in the lecture. Then that is a hamular process, then maxillary notch or hamular notch or median palatine raphe or fovea palatini. So this is the fovea palatini, this is the soft palatal part, this is the hard palatal part, and why we are having a cupid bow shape uh, uh, in this the cupid bow shape is because of the posterior nasal spine that is the giving the shape of the posterior palatal seal in the denture. So the primarily the five functions which are more important whenever you asked with the posterior palatal seal area having the functions. So five most important function is as one of them is we already discussed the retention in maxillary dentures. It prevent the anterior portion of the soft palate during the functional movements, reduced patient awareness of denture and reduction in the gag reflex, reduced fluid accumulation, and one which we are missed in a text format, that is the the shrinkage is avoided with the thickness of a material. It reduces the patient discomfort when that occurs between the tongue and posterior end of denture base. As the posterior denture closely approximate the soft palatal tissue, there is a no transition point. Compensatory of volumetric shrinkage, as we have discussed earlier also. The PPS has specific characters for different parameters like size, shape, location, and displaceability of the tissue. So, the techniques to record the posterior palatal seal area according to the Winkler is conventional technique, fluid wax technique, arbitrary escape technique of the master cast, extended palatal technique. So conventional technique is the normal recording of the material, and arbitrary scrape is the 2 mm ditching of the impression after 2 mm ditching of the cast just after the fovea palatini. So, as we have discussed, the overextension will cause the rapid extension of denture base, will cause the ulceration of Gag reflex, the under extension will cause the loss of retention. The under post damming is like the bubbles or the air will definitely affect. Over post damming will can be because of the uh, uh, demonstration and problem of the denture. That will be the problem we mostly encounter. So if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. Whatever you do, you have to keep moving. So as we at the starting, we have discussed about the lecture that if you are not able to judge the pace, then walk slow. The prostho always needs a patience, particularly the two steps which are quite important to learn in dentures is the bottom molding, and the second one is the jaw relation. So the jaw relation will be discussed later, but primarily you need to walk through the bottom molding first. So if you ask me as a prosthodontist, the denture is always like a snake ladder game. So whatever do you do, if you have bitten by a snake at 98, you always come to the 9 or 10. So if you did any mistake, and you need to start from a primary cast in the denture. So that is the most cumbersome part. But if you ask me, the denture is the most difficult thing in prosthetics because it recognized your effort in a very organized format, and you need to be patient and programmatic in the thing of learning. So, wish you all luck for the further proceedings in prosthetic works. If you have anything, you can contact me at the email ID or my phone number. Thank you everyone for your patient listening.